Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of MedTech POV, the podcast brought to you by AdvaMed, the world's largest trade association for medical technology companies. I'm your host, Scott Whitaker, President and CEO of AdvaMed. Today, I'm pleased to be joined by Caroll Neubauer, former CEO of Braun USA and member of the AdvaMed Board of Directors. Caroll, one of the medtech industry's biggest boosters and chair of the MedTech Conference, is here to talk about our upcoming annual conference, the MedTech Conference in Anaheim, and what attendees can expect from our exciting, jam-packed agenda. Caroll, thank you for joining us today. You didn't retire entirely, and you're now at Water Street, but you're also continuing to serve AdvaMed as the chair of the MedTech Conference, which is where so much relationship building and networking goes on year over year. Let's talk about that meeting. You saw it from the beginning to where it is now. Tell us about the conference and the growth of that meeting and why it's such a valuable part of our industry.
Well, I've been part of the MedTech Conference from its early birth about, 17 years ago?
Yeah.
Where the conference was a small conference in Washington, D.C., in the Reagan Conference Center, where it was quite chaotic. We're going on our first experience, and it wasn't as perfect as it is today. From that little start to where we are today, to over 3,000, hopefully this year over 4,000 participants, with a incredible agenda that addresses anybody who has anything to do with our industry will find something that they should and will want to see and hear. It's become the spotlight of our industry and something that I'm extremely proud of. I think this is the fifth conference that I'm chairing, and I do it with pride and true engagement. It's really worth my time and my energy, and I enjoy working with you and your team on this.
Yeah. So talk about who attends this meeting from your perspective, Caroll. You've been there obviously for 17 years, and you mentioned your time as chair. Who do you see at a meeting like this, and why is it important for people to show up?
It's come a long way since when it started, where the attendees were mostly the CEOs and the member companies and their teams that came to try to attract others. In the meantime, it is truly everybody who has to do with the medtech industry is and should be there. If it's the CEOs, if it's the head of R&D, if it's the head of government regulations, if it's investors, even healthcare providers and healthcare provider institutions should be there in the meantime, as we truly have something for all of them that they will benefit from. And it's not only medtech per se, it's DX, it's Excel, like diagnostics, Excel, small and big companies. There is truly something for everybody and a network opportunity for everybody. Our new investor track has really started to attract investors from venture capitalists to large private equity and investment funds that are all there. Anybody who is in or touches our industry will benefit from this conference.
Yeah. Let's talk about the investor piece for just a minute, which you highlighted there. That has become an important part of what we do at the MedTech Conference. The ecosystem is so reliant on a strong investor component to it, right? And what's the value of an investor coming to a meeting like this? What will they experience?
Well, coming now from the investor community,
right?
I really think I have a very good perspective on that. And one thing is, as an investor, I get to see companies that I otherwise may not be able to see. As a company seeking an investor, I can find the investors now. And with the My MedTech partnering system, you can really get to find those with ease. Go through the attendee list and go onto the new partnering tool, and you'll see how easy it is to connect with those people that you may want to meet and talk about investments. We also have started our reverse pitches for the second time this year. It was very successful last year, and this year we have super companies again. I don't want to go through all of them, but Alcon, Boston Scientific, Johnson & Johnson, Siemens, Stryker, Medtronic. A lot of companies and more than I just mentioned will be doing reverse pitches from that perspective, that small companies, mid-sized companies can understand what these companies are looking for as they are on their strategy path to continue their successful journey. So really, and from investors to companies that are seeking to work with large companies, everything is there. It's not only for investors, it's also for corporations and other opportunities. From an investor standpoint, I think I've got 6 or 8 invitations already to meet during the conference, and I haven't even started sending out my partnering requests yet. So yeah. I have some work to do as the attendee list grows.
There's the formal part of that, Caroll, where you set up the formal meetings through the partnering system and have your individual one-on-ones. But then there's the informal part of the networking piece at the conference that I hear so many people say is tremendously valuable, because everybody who is anyone in this industry is there, and they're walking the floor, they're in the meeting rooms, they're very, very accessible, which is tremendously valuable as well. Share your thoughts on that.
It's a feel and touch, and that's not literally meant. Of course, it's a feel and touch conference. You will run into any and all of the CEOs on the floor during the sessions, during the panel sessions, during the super sessions. They're all there. We were all there. We are all there. And there's nobody you will not see. It comes that we also have all our board meetings. It'd be at the AdvaMed board meeting, the Excel board meeting, the digital board meeting, the DX board meeting, are all occurring during the conference. So all those CEOs are there, and they attend the conference out on the floor and during the sessions. So that networking becomes really easy. Go on over and say hello and shake hands. There's not one that won't do that.
Yeah. We also do these CEO Unplugged sessions, and you participated in those in the past as well, Caroll. Those are very, very popular. We have the fireside chats with bank analysts that talk to different CEOs. I know your co-chair is doing one this year. Pete Arduini, CEO of GE Healthcare, is doing one. We have so many of those. You've experienced that. Talk about the value of those events.
Well, the CEO sessions are off the big stage, and they're direct in the exhibition hall, and really hands-on. The CEOs are then interviewed, and right after that session, there are lines, people just standing up, wanting to introduce themselves and their companies, and talking to CEOs. And all CEOs are very accessible right at that moment, not only just walking up to them, but particularly after those sessions. And it's good to hear them. You'll see the same. We have a super session or a keynote speaker session with Ashley McAvoy and Jeff Martha from Medtronic, Ashley, of course, from Johnson & Johnson, with Kevin Lobo from Stryker. After you hear them, after they come down the stage, you'll be able to address them. Then we have fireside chats. Steve McMillan, my co-chair from Alogic, will be doing one, and Peter Arduini from GE Healthcare, the CEO of GE Healthcare, will be doing that as well. After those sessions, you can easily address those speakers, and I know that they'll be glad to talk to you.
Yeah, we also have a student hub that we're doing this year, where we're bringing in younger people into the community as well, a place where we can kind of recruit and attract the younger leaders into the industry as well. That's a fun part of the event as well.
Well, talking about the challenges of getting talent into your organizations that everybody's facing, this is one opportunity to really meet young people and get them excited about our industry. So that student hub is an important part of not directly recruiting, and maybe you can do that as well. But the idea is to get these young people excited for our industry. So CEOs and have volunteered to talk to these young people. We've always had students there and always invited them. But this time it's much more structured, that they can talk really to the companies and company representatives, learn more about the industry and our opportunities on a one-to-one basis. It's the next step in recruiting the talent that we need for the future and developing that talent. I'm really excited about this opportunity and these young people coming to our conference.
Yeah, that's going to be great. We're really looking forward to that as well. So let me close with this, Caroll. I wanted to go back in time and reflect over your 17 years again. Do you have a favorite memory or a great anecdote or a story that you really love telling?
Well, when it comes to the MedTech Conference, I've had the opportunity to meet President Bush, President Clinton, and Prime Minister Tony Blair, some celebrity patients. Those are all things that you won't forget. Those are moments that kind of always will stay in my mind. But when it comes to the fun part of the conference, I just love going to that golf simulator and hitting the ball against my peers. And I've trained hard this year, and I do intend to win this year. So that's one thing, playing against my peers at the golf simulator, that I'm excited about and have fond memories from the past. So that'd be one fun memory that you're talking about, Scott.
You've got a tough competitor in the co-chair of the MedTech Conference, Steve McMillan. He can hit a golf ball pretty well.
Well, let's see who hits them better this year.
The challenge has been issued, Steve. So it's a Caroll and Steve MedTech Conference, and then it will turn into the golf show as well. So, Caroll, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us, not only about your career, but the MedTech Conference as well, and the important role that plays in the industry. We appreciate your leadership over the years on the policy side, as a CEO, as a friend to so many in the industry, and now you're continuing that work in the investor community. So thank you, Caroll. Thank you for being here too.
Well, thank you very much, Scott, and thank you for your leadership and your excellent team. What you do for our industry and in supporting us is amazing. I love working with you guys.
For those of you listening, thanks for tuning in. For more episodes, visit advamed.org/podcast or subscribe to MedTech POV on your favorite streaming platform. Until next time, this is Scott Whitaker. Have a great day.